What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gershwan.
And once again, we're back doing the thing where we answer the questions in another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. We also have a thing called Super Thanks. So if you have a question that you really want us to answer, hit us up with a Super Thanks, and we will we will answer that question for you, guaranteed. And it's also a way for you to support the channel, which is what Dreamy Denied has done.
Dream Denied says, when the Primarchs return, would you want to see them aged, or maybe the journey, or whatever happened to them, to show and reflect on their character design? For example, I would imagine Vulcan showing up in robes and never wearing full armor anymore, since he's kind of like some Jesus character or something almost like a monk. What would you like to see in future designs, or would you want them to be more traditional?
I definitely think that they should have a change.
Yeah.
I don't really like Gilliman.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
He's too, like, generic.
Yep.
Just like the Ultramarines, they're kind of like the poster boys, the template, if you will, that everything else is stemmed from. Gilliman's design, his armor, yeah, it looked cool, but, like, the more you look at it and the more intricacies you see in other characters, it's like, wow, they could have done so much more.
Yeah, and I think it's because the demon Primarchs have like aesthetics because of the fact that they're devoted to different gods. I think the same should be done for the loyalists. So I like the idea of Vulcan. I think like it would be cool to see Ferrus Manus come back and like he's just like ravaged from war and he's like war torn and stuff like that. Corvus Corax, which
Ferrus
is the Raven.
Manus
right?
is dead.
What did I say?
Ferrus Manus.
Oh no, Leman Russ.
That's who I assumed you meant. Yeah,
Leman
And I'm
Russ.
like, wait.
Yeah. So Leman Russ, that, and then Corvus Corax, which is a Raven, right?
Well, he's but apparently he's going through some like emo phase.
Well, like I would like that to come out as like what you said for Vulcan, where he's wearing a robe, he's very mysterious, and he's shadow walking, which is like the whole.
That'd be pretty cool, like having like the shadow almost like coming off of him, like or enveloping him or something like that.
Yeah, so almost chaotic, but not chaotic, because another element would be like, you know, how the Legion of the Damned, they have like burning
The skulls and the fire and all that.
Because they've been through the warp and things have happened to them because of the warp. And I think because these Primarchs went into the warp, came out, they're not corrupted, but they still have.
Yeah. The one thing I really want to see, and I kind of mentioned in my, like, what would happen for Warhammer 40K, is the Khan. The Khan has been going into these Dark Eldar worlds and stuff, and he's been missing for thousands of years. What I hope and what I want is to see a badly damaged Khan. Like, maybe he got captured and he was experimented on. Maybe he got flayed. So it's like maybe he comes back and, like, he's missing half his face, or it's all, like, muscle or something like that.
Yeah.
He's almost become, like, a grotesque. And like how he's been injected with like poisons and all this weird stuff.
Yep.
But he's still loyal and he's still fighting the fight, but he's all like mangled and messed up.
Yeah, I definitely want him to have a collection of skulls because this whole thing is like the hunt. So he's like, I didn't just hunt down the Dark Eldar that fucked with my worlds. I hunted down every Archon I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
And it's cool because now he could use like the weaponry of the Dark Angel or Dark Eldar and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and it could be one of those things where it's like, it's out of necessity. That's what I did. Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how the Imperium receives them.
Yeah. Especially Gilliman.
Yeah. Is he a heretic? Is he going to be forgiven? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Good, very good question. A lot of ideas can come from that.
Thank you for that. Super thanks. Next one comes from Brian B. Which brother do you think Gilliman misses the most?
Well, I mean, he was very buddies with, like, the Lion and Sanguinius. I mean, they did make the Imperium Secundus.
Yep.
Dorn.
I think it's the Lion.
Probably, yeah. Which is interesting because, like, he knows where the Lion's at. He's just sleeping. Like, wake him up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But then he gets protected by... Well, not even. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because we have 3 traitors and 1 loyalist.
Yeah.
Next one.
This one is by John Hippolyte. I've been gone a good while, but it's good to see that both of you are still doing the Emperor's work. My question is, in terms of the Emperor's origins, are we still sticking to the story that he's a combination of a bunch of dead psychers, or is there another origin story?
Good question.
Yeah, so as far as I know, I think he's still like the amalgamation of a bunch of shamans.
Yep.
Which is interesting because he's known as the true man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so men have to be made from shamans? No.
Yeah, sacrifice.
Or maybe he just embodies the beliefs, the symbology of what makes a man a man.
Maybe, yeah. Also, if you think about it, like the sperm and the egg, thousands of sperm go after the egg, but only one survives. It's like, nah, that wouldn't even make sense. I was going to say all those other sperm were sacrificed and they fed that one egg that got fertilized, but I don't think that's how it works. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you have this origin story, but with any story in 40K, there's always room for error, there's always room for retcon, there's always room to add more. Like, we thought we knew how the Emperor created the Primarchs. It turns out there's a perpetual involved with it. And with each release of the Horus Heresy novels, we get new insight into what happened during the heresy and what's happening during the Siege of Terra. And even now, we're still missing like 2 more books until the end of the Siege of Terra. Mm-hmm. So even now, we're not 100% confirming anything of what we previously thought. So like the Emperor fighting against Horus and killing him, and Horus regretting it at the end, Sanguinius dying, Saint Alanus Pius, or the Custody, or the guardsman that came in to confront Horus, like that all might get retconned, that all might get confirmed. We don't know, we just have to wait and see.
Right, yeah. Good question, though. We kind of answered it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The next one comes from the big one. Do the Sisters of Battle love the Emperor, or are they in love with the Emperor? And don't you think if the Sisters of Battle told the Emperor he could smash, he'd get right off the Golden Throne? It depends, because, like, Sisters of Battle, there's more Sisters of Battle than there are, like, the Sisters of Silence. So, like, Sisters of Battle are just, like, think of them kind of like Tempestus Scions.
Yeah.
Where they're really well-trained humans, and there's a ton of them. So I would imagine that not every single Sisters of Battle is like super devoted to the Emperor, but like probably.
Yeah, I mean, they all go through like the indoctrination and the religious information, to put it kindly, and they're all kind of brainwashed to believe that the Emperor is the god, the Emperor is the only one that can protect you and provide what you need in life and stuff like that. So of course they're zealots, they're devoted to the Emperor. That is the one true thing that drives them to become Sisters of Battle.
Right.
And not just that, but they're also given miracles, which further enhances their beliefs and kind of solidifies that what they're doing is the right thing.
Correct.
So I guess you could say they are in love with the Emperor as like somebody would be in love with God, because that is kind of how they see him.
Yep.
But I don't think it goes to the sexual side of things, because then you're giving in to the sins and the carnal and the warp and all that, and that is a no-no.
Yeah, it's placed really well. Also, if the Emperor wanted to smash one of them, he doesn't have to get off the Golden Throne. He can do it with his mind penis. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like mind bullets, but it's just like an etheric schlong.
And it's like, why mess around with the Sisters of Battle when you got the Custodies right there?
Exactly, yeah. Next question.
This one is by Jonah Peel. Do Heretic Uprisings like ever work? The Space Marines are always putting down heresies. If Horus couldn't do it, then why do these little guys think they'll succeed? Do heretics not study history? Or was it just that we are exposed to the Emperor's propaganda?
Oh, for sure they work. Like, one of the things that I think is kind of misleading, not even misleading, but people just don't read it. When there's a rebellion on an imperial world, the heretics take control for a good while. It takes the Imperium
a while.
Yeah, to muster up all the troops to send somebody, because of the way communication works in the Imperium. So it could be like 3 generations of traitorous things that are happening until like...
Yeah, the Imperium. Somebody says, hey, wait, this planet hasn't been giving us tides for 4 years. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then they got to investigate, but in order to investigate, they got to like warp travel, and traveling in space is slow and whatnot, so...
Yeah. So it works. It's almost like the U.S. It's almost like if the U.S. was still... Because the U.S. is, 200 years old?
Something like that.
That's nothing compared to how long some of these rebellions take hold. Mm-hmm. Like, even in the Bad App War, I think the Bad App War lasted a good, while. Mm-hmm. You're thinking of 10,000 years.
And the other thing too is like the Imperium doesn't want word of this getting out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's probably rebellions that have been going on for a lot of times, and the Imperium's just keeping it on the hush hush.
Yep. They don't want other neighboring planets to rebel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Next question.
This one is by... Oh, I lost it. Oh, here it is. Juan Jose Mendivil. What type of character that stands out the most as being a red shirt? If you don't know what that means, it's like, oh, that person is definitely going to die. Any guardsman.
Yep.
Any character that does not have a like a name.
Mm-hmm.
Any character that wears a helmet. Those are like cues that like, oh yeah, for sure. Or like some random character that kind of steps up to the plate. They're gone.
Yeah, spoiler alert for anybody who's reading Eisenhorn.
Mm-hmm.
Acolytes. Inquisitorial acolytes are always going to die. So like if an Inquisitor has a retinue, more than likely that retinue is not going to survive.
Yeah, chances are the Inquisitor's going to live, but
yeah.
he's going to see like the devastating deaths of his companions, and that's going to drive the narrative forward.
Yep.
Yeah. Primarchs, none of them, honestly. Even the ones that are dead, they're coming back in some way.
Yeah, probably.
That's too much money that that GW is missing out by having Ferrus Manus stay dead. He'll come back as like some warp entity or something.
Or Dreadnought. That would be awesome.
I mean, we even have clones for
Yeah.
certain Primarchs and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening and all the super thanks. We'll talk tomorrow.
That is right, guys. And as always, it's a Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first.